Hi, Christie Coaching here. Um, Tonight I want to talk about breaking old patterns and um, it, how difficult it is to transform into something completely different and something uh, new. I'm. I don't think I've talked about this too much, kind of, but not recently. I used to deal with depression a lot when I was younger, and even in college and grad school, and it was hard and it was painful, and sometimes it would last for days or for weeks or just a really long time. And ever since I started coaching and getting into this work and getting into self-development and self-growth, it's I'm not saying it's never there, because it's still there sometimes, but it's definitely not as bad as it used to be. And if I get it, now it's usually for minutes or hours, or I can shift my perspective. I can shift and change out of that fairly quickly. Whereas back in the day, it would be, sometimes it'd be really bad, and sometimes it could be last for days and days or weeks, or it could last a really long time. And yeah, so I've just been having all these old patterns come up, and I think because I'm very, very committed to releasing this way of being. I've made some really big commitments in my life and things that I want to change and shift and move out of and process. And so I think the universe is like bringing up all my old crap. like, all this old stuff just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And I really believe it's because I've truly asked to get rid of it forever. Um, so yeah, it's back, and just trying to learn ways to deal with it, deal with some old patterns. And I've definitely buried my head in the sand for a little bit on some things that I had going on, and because of that, I have to deal with just the consequences of that. And I found out today that I made about a $10,000 mistake, which is not easy to hear and to deal with. And it's because I waited too long to deal with something, and now it's going to cost me about 10 grand because of it. Actually, all told, probably more. But so it's just hard, it's hard to shake out of that, especially when trying to do some big things with money and buy houses and build houses and progress into a different way of being, which again is something else that I've asked the universe for. So I'm being tested. And yeah, so just dealing with depression and how to pull yourself out of it and realize that, it's not forever, and it's sad, and, there was mistakes made, and now you need to move on. And one thing that's helped me tonight is my son. He's hilarious and he's so funny. And so for me to stay in the moment with him and just be there with him and just laugh with him and smile and listen to his jokes and his silliness, and like just really, really be there and kind of get out of my own sadness, my own depression, and just shake it off and go back to dealing with him and just really being present with him. So that's how I was coping this evening. I will also be having a coaching session with my coach and some of the other coaches in the legacy program that I'm helping with. And I just want to move this. I want to shift it. I want to step out of it. I'm ready to process this part of my life and move on to something different, something bigger, a bigger game that has a greater reward instead of just this same thing over and over again. So that's it for me today. Just learn ways to shift your perspective quickly, and don't stay in it. Don't, depression happens, hurt happens, sadness happens, but you don't have to wallow in it. So come up with a solution as to how to snap yourself out of it, or how to bring yourself back into the moment and transition. That's it for me today. Mwah. Live your life on purpose. Bye.